Hey, it's Mike Brennan, and we're back. And another MITech TV segment. And we have with us a regular, Gary Erickson, who is the managing partner of Executive Search Partners. And just like it sounds, they do searches out there for executives primarily in the cybersecurity space, such as chief information officers and chief information security officers, but certainly well beyond that, right, Gary?
Yeah, we got a lot of customers who say, "Gee, you've done a good job in this area. Can you help us out in others?" So over time, we've done a whole range of searches, but our primary focus is senior level IT, CIO, CISO, director, VP, senior manager, senior director, anything that says IT in it.
And one of the things I mentioned to Gary that I wanted him to take a look at is tariffs, because it's confusing right now. I'm not sure what tariffs are on which products, but they're having an impact. And I wanted to, in so many areas, and I wanted to find out if they're actually having an impact also in the executive search area. So, are tariffs having an impact there, Gary?
Yeah, significant impact. We were seeing a little bit of what people have called the Trump bump at after he got elected, that there maybe was some feeling that we're going to start investing and hiring people. And as soon as the tariffs were announced and the uncertainty that's going on with that in terms of sourcing and supply and costs, uh, many, if not all, of our customers have said, hold off on any further hiring. In the few cases where they really need the position, the president is saying, I've got to sign off on it. So that's our customer base. We're also seeing in the statistics that the number of senior level searches across the country in all positions is down significantly year over year. And last year was really down year over year.
Yeah, I did just a little bit of research on this before the program today, and what I seem to have seen, there was a website called CIO Dive that says tech employment fell by over 200,000 in May. At the same time, you've got a lot of companies that aren't laying people off because they don't want to lose their competitive edge should things turn around later in the year. So it seems to be more of a hiring pause than, mass layoffs or anything like that. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, we're not seeing the mass layoffs. People. It's not like people are saying the economy is so bad. It's just let's be really, really careful and position ourselves to leap either way, depending on what the true impact of the tariffs is.
Yeah. I was curious also whether laid off government employees are affecting anything in the IT market. Do you have a lot of new people searching for work at this point?
They probably are, but they normally we wouldn't see a lot of them because most of our work is non-government work, and they transfer between a government position and a in a retail kind of position like manufacturing, automotive, retail, healthcare doesn't always work. Now there are places in the federal government where they focus on, say, manufacturing, or they focus on healthcare. Those kind of people might have a good transition, but for the positions we're in, I don't think we've ever taken anybody from a government position and put them into an industry position.
Okay.
So essentially, wouldn't call it a freeze, but people just don't know what the future holds, right? And they don't know whether they should hire that person because they don't know whether what the money situation is going to be like. I mean, right now it's just mass confusion, right?
Yeah, it's mass confusion. I suspect that something will settle down at some point. Fingers crossed. Of course, I'm being hopeful that things will settle down. But for the last 3 years, I mean, 2.5 years, things have been really slow because of first inflation and now because of tariffs. At some point, I would think companies are going to have to invest in the future. They're going to have to hire the people they need to be able to grow. They're going to have to replace people who are retiring. They're going to have to replace people who are leaving. That said, with a little asterisk, AI has had a significant impact on programmer level positions. I don't know the exact statistics, but Microsoft said they're doing 70% of their coding now using AI, or 70% of their code has been written with AI. I've talked to other people who are experts in the industry, and they're saying we don't need as many IT programming experts as we did before, because each programmer is now significantly more productive because they can use the AI tools to generate the basic code, to check the code they've got, to provide additions to the code, to integrate the code. A lot of the things that IT people needed to spend a lot of time on, they don't have to do that as much anymore.
Well, so much for that sort of snarky response to a lot of graduates of history and subjects like that, where they would just say, learn to code, huh?
I think learning how to use computers and learning how to use AI and how to get, you still need programs, you still need applications, you still need process improvement. Well, how can you utilize the tools that are out there? It's like the finance guys who, were using calculators and those big machines that you put out, people could manipulate their fingers fast if they were really good at it. Excel came along, and all the financial people had to invent themselves. Well, I don't know that we're really down in total in finance people. And I think the same things, we're going to see an acceleration of implementation, would be my guess, as we get through this transition of people going from, I use no AI, to I'm using significant amount of AI. Now I'm going to take on more. Now I'm going to get more done.
Yeah. That's a really interesting analogy between coding and AI and Excel and the bookkeeping, accounting community,
Sure.
because it suddenly became possible to, tweak a variable here and there and make financials work that didn't work before.
Right.
So
And do
wasn't
significant
first.
analysis with all that simulation capability you had in there. What if we did this? What if we did that? Didn't take months. You could get it done in 5 minutes or less.
I did see an article cross my transom recently that said that the executive search hedge hunting whole space is going to be drastically impacted by artificial intelligence. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, companies have been selling AI-enabled recruiting tools, database access tools, et cetera, for quite a while, and you hear people saying that they need to customize their resume so it's AI fan friendly, or the bots won't kick them out. I still have not yet found, and I've looked at a lot of them, any system whose recruiting AI capability is very good. And the biggest problem with that is the same problem any AI system has, and that's the quality of the underlying data. So the way you accumulate a bunch of resumes from people, like LinkedIn, for example, and then you search through those resumes based on keywords. Well, people use different keywords to mean different things. Titles are different. They describe what their company does differently. A lot of those variables in data make it very hard for even somebody like LinkedIn, who spent a lot of money on this, to be able to pull up people based on selected search criteria that match that search criteria the way you, as an individual looking for people, intended it.
Hmm.
I think it'll get better, but I'm still, still have to go back to the normalization of the data. And I don't know how many people are going to normalize their resumes, because nobody's out there working on, resume standards. Use this keyword to mean this.
So let's say you are someone out there looking for a job at this point. What are your recommendations right now for the most effective job search?
Don't give up your current job. That's the first one. I'm being, as you said earlier, snarky. I'm trying to be a little bit humorous, but this is a good time to be ready. Make sure that your LinkedIn profile is correct and accurate, and maybe use even some AI tools to help you refine that. Because there's some pretty good AI prompts you can use to refine your LinkedIn profile, or you can help it to tune your resume, or you can have AI help you with questions that you might get, and answers you might be able to give based upon your experience for the kind of things that recruiters who are trying to screen candidates can ask. And if anybody's looking for those prompts, if they go to our website and download our 12 steps for a highly successful job search, we recently updated it with 4 AI prompts. One is how to customize your resume. Another one's how to write your LinkedIn profile. Another one is how to generate answers that you're looking, questions that you might get with the answers you might be able to use that would resonate with people. And the last one is, how do you write a even though we don't recommend cover letters, how do you write a cover letter that is very specific to the job that you're applying for, using what you've done, using your accomplishments, and using what they're looking for, so you can hone both your resume and your cover letter or pseudo cover letter so the person reviewing it will look at it and say, oh yeah, this person's a good fit for the job, I'd like to interview him. So the answer to your question, Matt, which I sort of digressed from, was get ready. Get your resume ready. Learn how to use AI tools. Make sure you're out there looking at job openings every day on LinkedIn and Indeed and Glassdoor and ZipRecruiter. Network. Boy, one of the big things is networking. Most people find their jobs through networking. Do networking every single week and maintain that network. Stay in touch with the people in your network. Let them know what you're doing. Help them out. If they have some, they say, hey, I'm still looking, or I'm, always interested in finding out about these kind of jobs. How can I help you? What are you interested in? Because I'm out there being active. Maybe I'll see something that would benefit you.
So let's go into a little bit of those 12 steps. Obviously, you got 4 new ones. You got the 4 new ones for AI, but in general, imagine the job search, you still have to have certain elements that don't involve AI. And let's go over some of those, I guess.
Yeah. So what we did is we put the AI prompts within the 12 steps to sort of help you, sort of like programming. We're enhancing the 12 steps by adding additional tools that make it even better. But the first steps are basically get ready. And the number one thing that we recommend to people is that you go back over the last 5 to 10 years of your experience, and you write down 10 success stories a year. This is sort of the key about anything you're going to do. You're going to use it for interviewing. You're going to use it for resumes. You're going to use it for any cover letter to highlight how you're a fit for a particular job. The success stories, we suggest you write them in a format that many people are familiar with, called STAR, CAR, PAR, which is, we use PAR. What is the problem you're trying to solve? What were the actions you took or led? And what were your measurable results? And on top of that, try and reduce that into 2 sentences. So if you, for example, said, installed, we were having trouble with closing our financials on time, installed brand new financial systems, which resulted in a reduction in days to close from 20 days to 2 days. That'd be a great accomplishment, and it would resonate with any chief financial officer or the president of a company.
Sure, absolutely. All right.
Well, that was one. I'm sorry, Matt. I'm interrupting you. He asked me the other. There's a whole sequence of how do you interview with people, keep your answers short. How do you close the deal? How do you ask the questions at the end of the interview? How do you negotiate? What are some good answers to key interview questions? Those are all out there on our website under the 12 steps document that I referenced earlier.
Okay. So basically, the bottom line is just keep plugging away at it. Keep your resume fresh, keep your profile fresh, and keep networking. I think that's probably the most important part of it, because I think it's true in almost any field, not just IT. The way you get a new job is through networking. I mean, it's almost always.
Absolutely. Yep. And thank you for summarizing that so much better and faster than I did in my more long-winded answer.
Well, he's a consummate pro, so we call Matt the wordsmith. So
yeah, I've known that for years. Both of you guys are wordsmiths.
All right.
So if people want more information, Gary, about all of this, please tell us how to get a hold of you.
Well, the website has got both the 12 steps document, which is really, I highly recommend people download that if they're looking for a job search. It's a good document that we've developed and refined over 20 years of being in business, and it's current. It will keep it up to date. As I mentioned, the AI prompts. There's also, we post all of our jobs out there. It's www.exec searchpartners.com.